Alright, today I'm going to be doing a little first impression video of the new Shimano SLX DC XT. This is the HG gear ratio, so it is 7.4 to 1. And this reel just came out recently. It's not even available on Tackle Warehouse right now, but I got it through Amazon. Which, if you're buying new fishing reels, Amazon can be a good place to look because they have stuff that other places don't carry sometimes through different sellers. And they have it earlier than Tackle Warehouse or some of these other places. And it's usually, you can find one for a little bit cheaper, but you always do take a little bit of a risk. I've seen people leave reviews like they got a used product that was returned, or they got a different reel altogether than the one they ordered or whatever. So there is a little bit of risk there. I've never had a problem, and I've ordered probably like 7 reels off of Amazon. Never had a problem, but it is potential there, so just so you guys are aware. So I was able to take this out yesterday and throw it on a lake and a river, the Mississippi up here in Minnesota. I only got one fish on it, so it's kind of hard to tell. It was like a probably 1.5 pound smallmouth. But my first impressions of this reel, I got it on my SLX rod, and this thing is basically replacing or upgrading my old SLX DC. I've had this SLX DC here for I think 3 years now. I've used it quite a bit. This is the original SLX DC, so this is the 150. I know they recently came out with a 70 size, and I'll talk about kind of the differences between the two here in a second. But this is a nice reel. When I got it, honestly, the DC stuff is my first DC reel. It's pretty cool and everything, but this reel was a little underwhelming. Like, I just felt like it wasn't quite like living up to the hype or whatever. Yeah, it's a decent reel. It's built on like the SLX platform, which is the cheapest SLX reel out there. There's SLX, SLX DC, SLX XT, SLX BFS. So there's a lot of different variations of this reel. And this one has the IDC4 chip in it, and the new XT has the IDC5 chip, so just a little bit better technology, I guess. Spool size, obviously this is a 70. 70 is quite a small spool, and this SLX does come in a 70 version as well. But this one's a 150, so if you need something that's going to hold a lot of line, I would definitely go with the 150. The 70 here, I put 6-pound test mono backing on here, just enough to cover the spool, and then 30-pound test braid. And I definitely have a lot of line left on my farthest cast, but like it's starting to get down there. If something happened where I hooked into a log and had to break the line and I lost 20 or 30 yards of line, I might be hitting the bottom after that, so I'd have to put new line on it. So I like using 40-pound test braid in general for like swim jigs, which is mainly going to be what this one's for. Swim jigs, chatter baits, buzz baits, spinner baits, any of the moving baits. I like using 40-pound braid. I don't really think it's possible to use 40-pound braid on this. I mean, it's possible, but you're going to lose a little bit of casting distance. And with this smaller spool, it actually does 30-pound test very well. So that's probably the line I would recommend on here. 30-pound test braid. Casting here, it casts so much farther than the SLX DC. It is incredible. And I forgot to tell you, this one has the MGL3 spool, so that's the Shimano Magnum Light spool. So this is basically like a SLX MGL, which I have, and I actually really like that reel. I kind of got that for a little bit lighter applications, like smaller crankbaits and stuff. But this is basically that reel with, I think that one is the MGL2 spool, so this one is the MGL3 and then the IDC5. Just holding them up side by side here, obviously the 70 is going to be a much smaller reel, and it's a little bit more like sleek design. It's a little bit more like pointed there compared to this one that's a little more boxy. And then this one just feels more solid, like the plastic and magnesium Hagani or whatever the heck they use on this thing. Just feels more solid, a little more rigid, and a little less geary than the SLX DC regular does. Obviously, being a smaller reel, the handle there is much smaller. The handle knobs are smaller, and the width isn't as small. So if you want something with a little bigger handle, a little bit more cranking power again, or a bigger spool, I'd definitely go with the SLX DC 150. And far as pricing goes, I got this one for $238, and I think there's a little bit of tax, so probably about $250 out the door. And I actually did. The reason I like ordering stuff from Amazon is because I got the Amazon card that gets you 5% rewards points. So I actually had like $100 in points already, so I basically got $100 off this reel. And for just about everything, I would honestly recommend you upgrade. The price of this SLX DC, I think when I bought it was $190, and I think it's still kind of around there. You can maybe find it a little bit cheaper from different sellers on Amazon, maybe down to like $160. And then the SLX DC 70, this older version, the 70 size, is still around $180, $190. So to upgrade to the DC XT, you're looking at probably an extra, depending on the day, $30 to $50. I would say it's well worth it. Absolutely, I would not hesitate to tell anybody to do that. You know, if you're buying a $180 reel, you probably have the budget. You probably have it in the budget to get a $220 reel, $230 reel, and I would certainly recommend it. Like, I don't know. Comparing the two, guys, the casting distance is unreal on this one. I bet you it cast 10 yards farther. And I had it on the same rod, throwing the same type of lures. Even with, if I had this original SLX on 2, so there's 4 different settings on here. And 1 is basically like the ideal weather settings, you know, no wind, whatever, long casting. 2 is a little bit more conservative, and then 3 and 4 would be like heavy wind or skipping or whatever. If I had this one at 2, it would cast pretty good, and I wouldn't have to thumb it. When I put it onto 1, I would really have to thumb it, otherwise it would overrun. And even like, you know, I would have to almost like not lob cast. Jesus. I would not lob, but you know, if you snap it quick, it would backlash on that one. If you snap this one quick, I can tell it maybe starts to do slight overruns, but it corrects, and I did not have any yesterday. And I had it on 1 the entire time. I never put it on 2. I never had to thumb it or anything. So for the money's worth, for that extra $30 to $50, whatever, you're getting, in my opinion, a better updated, much better casting reel, and all around just feel and performance, this one's much better. The only thing I would say is, you know, if you like those bigger power handles or whatever, and they're not really power handles, but this one is quite small actually, and spool size. So if you need a bigger spool or whatever, you know, I would probably honestly suggest stepping up to the Corrado DC or the Scorpion DC. And the SLX DC, it's a cool reel, but I just think, you know, for a little bit more money, or you know, maybe the Corrado DC, you know, an extra $70 or whatever, you're getting quite a bit better reel. So it is a cool reel. It's my first DC reel ever, and glad I bought it. But this one's just a more substantial step up in performance and quality, and really look forward to throwing this one more. So if you guys want to subscribe to the channel, I'll be doing some more kind of demos on this and fishing with it and give you my updated feel on it. And I will probably give this old SLX DC away here. So in one of my next upcoming videos, or maybe when I hit like 800 subscribers, I'm like 32 short or something like that right now, but maybe when I hit 800 subscribers, I will just give this one away to one of the commenters and send it to you. I actually just sent my old Corrado DC to James Barron. Shout out to James. Sent my old Corrado to him down in Texas, and I don't know, when I upgrade stuff, you know, I got plenty of fishing rods and reels here, as you can see. Like, I certainly don't need more, so I pretty much told myself now that if I'm going to buy anything new, I need to replace one of my other ones. And basically what I'm going to do with the ones I replace is give them away to subscribers, or maybe give them away to like a kid at the boat launch or whatever. When I go to and see some little kid fishing, I'll just be like, hey buddy, here's a new fishing reel for you. Would like to give away the rod too, but rods are super expensive to ship. The reel was only 10 bucks to ship, and I'm sure this one will be 10 bucks to ship. So subscribe to the channel, guys, if you want to see some more updates on this. And like I said, well worth the money. This is such a step up from the original SLX that I can't recommend it enough to spend that extra $40 and get a much better casting and much better performing reel. as long as you don't mind the less line capacity and smaller handles. See you guys in the next video. I got a fish. I do. Sweet. Feels like a good one actually too. Smallie or a northern? Oh, smallie. Nice jump, little buddy. Just swam under my legs. In between my legs. Nice. Hey little pal. Alright. My first fish on the SLX DC XT. Chunky little smallmouth. Thanks, pal.